right, one more time for the ritual. And here we are, opening packs. I've got a couple more left to do in this test run series where I'm just making content. This is making content. So EXO here, in honor of my childhood, young adult best friend, Brothers War. Two people with world dominance grandeur and two different paths to get there. So I think the criticism I had of myself earlier was not opening the packs quick enough. So there we go. Packs open. Yeah. Is this one of the... Hold on. I'm gonna go to the middle of the pack and see. Okay. Yeah. All right. So depending on the printing, you ever notice the sets come out and it's the commons, uncommons, rare, but sometimes when they're clearly not the first run of the set, you'll either buy it at a box store or you'll order something online, or after a certain run of time you get it at your local game store. Now the rares are in the front. I'm sure there's science behind that I don't understand, but here we are. Art cards. I hate these. I think it's a bad idea. I think there's probably better ways to pay artists more and incentivize the art. I mean, sell a short run of each set's art in a book form. I think that would be really awesome, and you could divide it by the artist. So just a compilation novel or a book of collections of poetry. It's the first little bit is art. Johann Grenier, or this guy, the Air Marshal, and just the art in book form, I think would be way cooler than this stupid little card. Because the art here, right? Okay, small, bigger, but not that much bigger. Put it in a book form. You can see all the intricate details, and if you're really an art fan, you'll buy that. And I'm sure a ton of people would buy it. It'd be a collector item. I found, unless it's an artist of big renown and a card of some rarity, these are worth trash. And it's only when there's the gold little signage. Strixhaven, maybe the Orzhov Elder Dragon. There was at least one of those cards signed that was actually worth something. So people clearly don't care enough if they're not worth anything. It's just a wasted spot. Give me cooler tokens, or give me tokens that were rare way back when, or just strange land art, or drop something really rare every now and then. I don't know, it's better. Anyway, Swamp from Brothers War, Coastal Bulwark. I'm just gonna jump through the commons because we're not here for that. Giant Growth, great, old school, still to today great. Phalanx Vanguard, Atomical Honor Guard, and that's cool art, right? That's really great art. If I cared about Francisco Mayara and whatever in the Great Desert, one law is enforced over all others, water belongs to all. If this struck something with me, I'd buy the art book, right? Demolition Field, probably need to be reprinted, but not the best land. Okay, so uncommons. The Fall of Krug, 4 and 2 red, choose the target opponent, destroy target land that player controls. Fall of Krug deals 3 damage to that player and 1 damage to each creature they control. So this is a little costly, but if land destruction was needed to be reprinted, destroy target land, so any land. And what I love about things like this was, if we go back to Demolition Field, I bet you money that land's controller may search their library. So you destroy a land and it says target non-basic land, and then they get to search for a basic land. So there is super niche scenarios where this is awful, because if your opponent's playing a deck, especially in Commander, where it relies on a couple of blue pips and they just have an island or something, you just destroy that and they're hosed, absolutely hosed. So I love that there's targeted removal, But not only is it non-basic, so you can't get rid of that island, you have to get rid of non-basic lands, they get a land back. This is classic land removal, and I don't love it. And this is a little overpriced, but man, what could board wipe in a token strategy. You just one damage to all creatures they control. It's dealing 3 damage to that player, so if they're already low, this is going to stop them from doing shenanigans, and you're getting rid of whatever the best land is from your perspective, because it could be an island. It could be. Yeah, go for the throat. Target non-artifact creature. That's a solid reprint always. Ivory Tower, at the beginning of your upkeep, you gain X life, where X is the number of cards in your hand minus 4. If you're in blue, draw all card, whatever. This is great. If you're in green and you can load your hand full of lands, this could be great. This could be a great card depending on what your strategy is. Ichor Wellspring. When Ichor Wellspring enters the battlefield or is put into graveyard from battlefield, draw a card. So this is just 2 mana. Draw a card now, draw a card later. And this is great if you can destroy artifacts. Brothers War, clearly this is a great card for the set. We're at a rare. Soul Patrician. 1 and a white. Soul Patrician. Exile target non-land permanent. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may play it. Exile target non-land permanent. So an enchantment. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may play it. A spell cast by an opponent this way costs 2 more to cast. Okay, so it's worded very strangely, but I think the understanding here, and I never played this card, but this is going to shut something off from your opponent. They can play it again, but it's now got it's not ward 2, but it's just like an additional 2 to play that card. So it's just adding 2 generic to the mana cost, and it's taking it out of play for now. So they can replay it with almost like commander tax, okay? And it wouldn't work on commander because you just put it back in the command zone and it wouldn't matter. You could do that, but it's just, this feels strange removal for a commander. It's an instant. But for you, I guess it's worded this way because for you, it doesn't cost 2 more. Spell cast by an opponent this way, right? So you can exile your own thing and then repay it for its base mana cost. That would be interesting in Flicker. This would probably be like your 6th or 7th redundant card in a Blink Flicker deck. There's better things that just remove it and bring it back, or exile or phase it out, or whatever. Okay, ETBs, but phasing out wouldn't ETB. But anyway, this is for 1 and a white, not a bad thing. And then we have a foil. Mightstone's Animation, 3 and a blue. It's an aura enchantment. Enchant artifact. So for the set, anything that enchants an artifact is probably good. Let's read it though. It's a common. When Mightstone's Animation enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted artifact is a creature with base power and toughness 4/4 in addition to its other types. So this is 3 and a blue. So all this really does is take something like your Soul Ring or your Arcane Signet or your Felwar Stone or something like that. Anything that you probably had early game that's adding to your mana pool and ramping. And it's 3 and a blue, so it's 4 mana, and it turns it into a 4/4. And all it does is let you draw a card on top of that. So it's animate artifact, draw a card. It's not great. I mean, for a common in this set, again, in like a limited or sealed, or you're drafting. This is in the set booster, so who knows? But yeah, it was pretty solid. And then your token card, just 1/1 token artifact creature, soldier. I like the art from this set a lot. The lands, there were some fun things. Brothers War. I wish that we would get. It's hard to say how often I would want this because, okay, Brothers War does a retelling of old Magic lore. Basically, it's about an old story from the Magic universe, and I think we'd be better off getting a set like that. Maybe it would be, now that we have this Universes Beyond every other year, like a, I don't remember when this set got released specifically, like in the timeline of the year, but I think it'd be really cool if like your January, February set was some old school lore dump, you know, and maybe there could be little added things to it that would like, how often do they take like a character that was mentioned in the text at the bottom, the flavor text, if they would just add like on Icar Wellspring, right? Flavor text, our glorious infection has taken hold. Elishnorn, Grand Cenobite. Like, we all know who the Elishnorn is. If you pretty prevalently played this game, you would know that. But oftentimes, it's some random character, and you know, most of them they do have cards printed, but even then, a lot of the flavor texts are the side characters, and it'd be really great if they took a set or they took a story from older sets and expanded upon it. And even if it was a story that spanned multiple sets, you could just say, hey, well, this is that story, just that story, you know? I don't have a great, I don't have a great example, but just, yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe when they talk about when Nicol Bolas got banished, you know, and who was there, and Ugin's role in it. And, you know, I guess that's kind of like Brothers War. It's like now it's Nicol Bolas and Ugin, but just taking the storyline of these things that happen in the far past now, expanding on it into a set, that'd be really cool. Yeah, so depending on this set, when we would draft, the Fall of Krug's pretty cool. If I was in red in Commander, that might be a good card. Soul Patrician's probably a great card. Yeah, this is like a really big spread. I actually really like the options you have for the uncommons. There's a life gain depending on how much card draw. There's a card draw depending on your ability to get rid of artifacts and maybe pay off for getting rid of artifacts. Go for the Throats, just targeted removal. But you're in a set where it's like, oh, these are artifacts, and go for the Throat. I think this is a great reprint in a set where it didn't seem busted and it helped out the meta and standard at the time. Yeah, Demolition Field, probably the last one out of the uncommons and rares that I would pick. Again, solid card. Sure, it needed a reprint. It seems like something you'd see in like your Commander precons, but not often printed as standard. But to pay 2 and lose this land drop just to get rid of something, that's a lot. Where at the end of the day, that's like 3, right? Let's call that 3. This is just double that. This is 6 mana, and it doesn't let them draw another or search for another land, and it could board wipe, and it does deal 3 damage. So I think late game Fall of Krug is way better, even at sorcery speed. Somewhere between Go for the Throat, Fall of Krug, and the rare Soul Partition would be a great card. But yeah, this is just me doing audio tests. You know, I'm trying to maybe quickly crack the pack, introduce myself, mention why I want to open these sets. And once I've gotten the channel with some content and up and running, and, you know, just a clear vision of how a video would go, I'm not really a scripted person, but I'm gonna get closer to that. Then the goal is to do what I just did, but with 2 packs from the same set and a guest. So it would be me, XO, and someone relevant to Magic the Gathering or my life that knows about Magic the Gathering, or somebody within, you know, it would start with my local community, a game store, and build to I live in the state of Florida, and then build to the southeast. So whatever this channel can provide me the ability to do, I'm going to do that and provide more content. So yeah, the idea here is to talk about Magic the Gathering, and just connecting with YouTube and other people. So I'm hoping to build some kind of a community here. And like I said, the niche of what I'm up to is I have 60 plus sets back, and I want to explore those sets with people who have a deep connection to it. Because if you've noticed, when I open these sets, it's either I played with this set or I didn't. Either I deeply cared about this set or I didn't. And that connection for me, very sporadic through the history of Magic the Gathering. I'm 37 years old. The game is not quite as old as me yet. It's never going to catch up to that. But the idea is I was very, very young, moved from baseball cards to Magic the Gathering. And yeah, the connection I have just waxes and wanes through the journey of my life. So I'd like to explore that waxing and waning of which sets I cared about, but with other people who cared deeply about sets. So hopefully you're going to see me talking to people who care deeply about the sets we open, and that will help us build a connection. And what I really want to do is in the comments here what your Magic journey was and how you're connected to Magic Gathering. There's other things you're going to see in these videos. I have deeper connections to other things. I watched the show Lost from the time it aired until the time it had its finale. Controversial, sure, but huge fan of Lost and what the overarching message is of letting go. Yeah, Lost was a big deal to me. I also, for the last we'll call it 7 years, I've been working in the bar industry. I've always been in the service industry for the majority of my working experience, but for about not quite 6 years now, I've been running bar programs, and part of running bar programs is getting weird bar swag. So you'll see me wearing Jefferson's bourbon things, or Campari swag, or Gray Whale gin. I've got a lot of cool connections to the alcohol industry. So, and part of the dark ritual is the coffee. So until we gather again, thank you, and see you in the next one.